Imagine waking before sunrise to discover that a hydrogen bomb had fallen from the sky just a few miles from your home. It sounds like fiction, but in January 1961, that nightmare almost became reality in eastern North Carolina. High above those peaceful fields, a US Air Force B-52 Stratofortress was flying a routine Cold War mission. Within minutes, everything would go terribly wrong. Without warning, the bomber suffered a catastrophic structural failure. The crew fought desperately to save the aircraft as alarms echoed through the cockpit, and precious seconds slipped away. Then came the unimaginable. 2 hydrogen bombs separated from the crippled aircraft and began falling toward the sleeping communities below. For years, the full story remained hidden from the public. Only after declassified government documents surfaced did investigators begin to reveal how close America had come to disaster. According to those official investigations, one bomb completed nearly every step required for a nuclear detonation. Investigators later concluded that a single low-voltage safety switch may have been the final barrier preventing one of the worst disasters in American history. To understand how 2 hydrogen bombs ended up falling over North Carolina, we first have to return to one of the most dangerous periods in modern history. The Cold War had divided the world into 2 rival superpowers, each preparing for the possibility of nuclear war. By the early 1960s, fear had become part of everyday life. Both nations believed that whoever launched a nuclear strike first could gain a decisive advantage. Military planners prepared for a conflict that everyone hoped would never happen. The United States responded by creating a strategy known as continuous airborne alert. Day and night, B-52 bombers carrying live nuclear weapons remained in the sky, ready to respond within minutes if war broke out. Every mission carried extraordinary responsibility. The crews knew that a single mistake, a mechanical failure, or a misunderstanding could have consequences measured not in lives, but in entire cities. Those missions were designed to protect America through deterrence, but the strategy carried an enormous risk. Every flight placed nuclear weapons in the air above populated regions, where even an accident could have unimaginable consequences. On January 23, 1961, one of those routine patrols would prove just how dangerous that strategy really was. What began as another Cold War mission was about to become one of the most alarming nuclear accidents in American history. On the evening of January 23, 1961, a Boeing B-52G Stratofortress lifted off carrying 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs. The mission was part of America's continuous airborne alert, a strategy designed to ensure a nuclear response could be launched at any moment during the Cold War. For the crew, this was another routine mission. They had trained for emergencies countless times, but none of them expected that within hours they would be fighting to survive aboard a crippled aircraft carrying some of the world's most destructive weapons. As the bomber continued its mission, an unexpected problem developed. A fuel leak began in the aircraft's right wing. At first, it seemed manageable, but with every passing minute the situation became more dangerous. The crew reported the emergency and began following established procedures. Every decision had to be made quickly because the aircraft was becoming increasingly difficult to control. As the leak worsened, the bomber lost thousands of gallons of fuel. The aircraft's structure was placed under growing stress, pushing both the machine and its crew toward a breaking point. Within moments, the emergency escalated beyond anything the crew had trained for. The aircraft began to break apart in the sky, forcing the men aboard to make life-or-death decisions in only a matter of seconds. As the aircraft tore apart high above North Carolina, the crew had only seconds to react. One by one, they abandoned the crippled bomber, parachuting into the freezing night as pieces of the aircraft scattered across the sky. Moments later, the bomber's nuclear payload separated from the wreckage. 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs, each carrying immense destructive power, began falling towards the countryside below. One bomb deployed its parachute almost exactly as it had been designed to. Instead of tumbling violently through the air, it descended slowly toward the ground, following parts of its normal release sequence. The second bomb was far less forgiving. Without the protection of a parachute, it plunged into the earth at tremendous speed, burying itself deep beneath the soft ground. As daylight broke, emergency responders and military personnel rushed toward the crash sites. Few of them fully understood the danger waiting beneath their feet. What investigators discovered over the following hours would become one of the most unsettling findings in the history of America's nuclear program. The evidence suggested that one of the bombs had progressed through nearly every stage of its arming sequence before it came to rest. As military investigators examined the recovered weapon, they began reconstructing its final moments. Their findings revealed that several stages of the bomb's arming process had occurred during its descent, raising urgent questions about how close the accident came to becoming a nuclear catastrophe. According to later declassified records, multiple safety mechanisms had already activated as designed. This surprised investigators and prompted a closer examination of the weapon's remaining safeguards. Later, investigations reported that a single low-voltage safety switch had remained in the safe position. Some official reviews described this as the final safeguard that prevented a detonation, making it one of the most discussed aspects of the incident. Historians have continued to study the event for decades. While there is broad agreement that the accident was extremely serious, experts have debated exactly how close the bomb came to a full nuclear explosion. Those discussions make it important to distinguish documented findings from later interpretations. What is not disputed is that the accident exposed weaknesses in nuclear safety procedures. It became a powerful reminder that even routine military operations carried risks that could have affected millions of people. The questions raised by the Goldsboro accident would influence discussions about nuclear weapons safety for years to come. But before those lessons could be learned, the military faced another challenge: recovering every piece of the fallen weapons. With the immediate danger under control, the Air Force launched one of the most complex recovery operations of the Cold War. Engineers, bomb disposal experts, and military investigators spread across the North Carolina countryside, determined to recover every piece of the fallen weapons. The first weapon was recovered relatively intact. Its parachute had slowed the descent, allowing investigators to examine its condition and reconstruct the sequence of events with remarkable detail. The second weapon presented a far greater challenge. It had slammed into the ground with enormous force, driving deep into waterlogged farmland and breaking apart beneath the surface. For days, crews dug deeper into the soft ground, recovering major components one by one. Yet, despite their efforts, some parts could not be reached because they had become buried far below the surface. According to official records, some components of the second bomb were ultimately left underground after recovery efforts reached their practical limits. The area was secured, and the location was documented by the government. Although the immediate crisis had passed, the Goldsboro accident forced military leaders to confront an uncomfortable truth. A routine mission had exposed weaknesses that could no longer be ignored. In the weeks following the accident, military officials launched an extensive review of what had gone wrong. Every decision, every mechanical failure, and every safety system was examined to ensure such an incident would never happen again. The investigation led to renewed attention on nuclear weapons safety. Engineers reviewed existing safeguards and continued improving designs to reduce the risk of accidental arming during future emergencies. For years, much of what happened near Goldsboro remained largely unknown outside military circles. As more records became public over time, historians gained a clearer picture of the accident and its significance. The Goldsboro accident has since become one of the most studied nuclear safety incidents in American history. It serves as a reminder that even during routine operations, small failures can carry extraordinary consequences. Today, the quiet farmland of eastern North Carolina reveals little of what happened there more than 6 decades ago. Fields have returned to normal and daily life continues, while one of the Cold War's closest calls has faded from a public memory. Yet beneath that peaceful landscape lies the memory of a moment that challenged assumptions about safety, preparedness, and the risks of the nuclear age. A reminder that history's most important warnings are often the ones almost forgotten. The Goldsboro accident was more than a military emergency. It was a stark reminder that history is often shaped not only by the disasters that happen, but also by the disasters that are narrowly avoided. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary day and an unimaginable tragedy is measured by a single decision, a single failure, or a single safeguard. The Cold War has ended, but its hidden stories continue to shape the world we live in today. Behind many declassified documents are moments that almost changed history forever, moments that remind us how fragile peace can be. Even today, historians continue to examine the lessons of Goldsboro, not because they expect history to repeat itself exactly, but because understanding the past helps reduce the chances of repeating its mistakes. If this story surprised you, remember that history is filled with events that remained hidden for years before the truth finally emerged. Every declassified document brings us one step closer to understanding the decisions that shaped our world. Thank you for watching this investigation into one of the most remarkable near misses of the Cold War. Stories like this deserve to be remembered, not because they inspire fear, but because they remind us how close history can come to taking a very different path. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind history's biggest secrets, subscribe to Shadow Archive and join us for the next investigation. Because sometimes, the most important stories are the ones history almost forgot.